Hey everyone, I'm Liz Fairy and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I made these little potted snake plants out of crochet. Some things you'll need for this project are a crochet hook, I'm using a size E, a pair of scissors, a stitch marker or bobby pin, a yarn needle, and the yarns I used for the snake plant were Patty Green from Red Heart Super Saver, Hunter Green from Lion Brand Pound of Love, and cornmeal, also from Red Heart Super Saver. I also used some craft wire to give the leaves some structure. This wire is 22 gauge. If you'd like to follow along with this project, you can find the written pattern as well as all of my other patterns in my Ravelry store at the link in the description below. The first leaf that I'm going to make is going to be 8.5 inches long, and to do that I'm going to start with a 7-inch wire frame. You can see how I make these wire frames in more detail in my wire skeleton tutorial or in my tulips tutorial. As I said, the wire is 7 inches long, and it has a wire loop at each end. Now, leaving a long tail of yarn that's about 40 inches long, I'm going to pull up a loop of yarn in the wire loop at the end of my wire. Then I'm going to chain 1, and this chain isn't going to count as a stitch, this is just to fasten the yarn to the wire for now. Now I'm going to pull that loop open for now, and then I'm going to use my 40-inch long tail to wrap the wire with yarn. This is so that you won't be able to see the wire through the leaf. First, I'm going to wrap the yarn around the wire loop to cover it completely. Then I'm going to wrap the tail around the rest of the wire all the way up to the top, covering up the wire as much as possible. Then I'm going to wrap the rest of the tail around the wire loop on the other side of the wire. Now I'm just going to fasten the tail by pulling up a loop in the wire loop, pulling the tail through, and tying a knot at that end of the wire. Now I can sew in that tail end later. Now I can continue into the chain 1 that I made when I was first attaching the yarn to the wire. First, I'm going to single crochet 2 times into the wire loop at the bottom of the wire. I'm going to single crochet 1, mark that stitch as the first stitch of the row using my bobby pin. Then I'm going to single crochet 1 more time into the wire loop. To make the stripes of the snake plant, I'm going to do 4 stitches using my light green yarn. Then I'm going to change colors to my dark green yarn and do 2 stitches. Then I'll change back to my light green yarn and do another 4 stitches and continue repeating that pattern until I've done the whole leaf. So I've already done 2 stitches. Now I'm going to do 2 more stitches and then change colors to my dark green yarn. So I'm going to single crochet 2 more times, this time around the whole wire. So I'll single crochet 1. Now I've done 3 stitches. Now I'm going to do 1 more stitch before changing colors. Since I'm working around a wire, I need to hold the bottom of the stitch so it doesn't come apart while I'm changing colors. So I'm going to leave that stitch open on the hook and finish that stitch with a loop of the new color. Now I just need to make sure that I'm working the next stitch over the yarn of the old color. So I just did 2 single crochets around the wire. Now I'm going to do 2 half double crochets using my dark green yarn. So I'm going to half double crochet around the wire, then I'm going to do another half double crochet, leave the stitch open on the hook, hold the stitch at the bottom so it doesn't come apart, and finish the stitch with a loop of the new color. Now I just need to make sure that I work the next stitch over the old color. So I just did 2 half double crochets. Next I'm going to do 2 double crochets. So I'm going to yarn over and pull up a loop around the wire, making sure that I'm working over the yarn of the old color. So that's 1 double crochet. Now I'm going to do 1 more double crochet. Now I'm going to do 2 treble crochets. So I'm going to yarn over twice, pull up a loop around the wire, and treble crochet. Now I'm going to do 1 more treble crochet so that I have a total of 4 stitches of my light green before I change colors back to my dark green. So I'm going to yarn over twice and pull up a loop around the wire. I'm going to hold that stitch. Then I'm going to pull a loop through 2 of the loops on my hook twice, leaving the stitch open on the hook. And then I'll finish the stitch with a loop of the new color. Now I've done 4 stitches of the light green. Now I'm going to do 2 stitches of dark green before changing colors back to my light green. I'm not going to make any taller stitches, so I'm just going to continue making treble crochets. So I've done 2 treble crochets so far. I want to make a total of 26 treble crochets. So I'm just going to treble crochet 24 more times around the wire until I get almost to the top. And as I said before, I'm going to be changing colors after every 2 stitches of dark green and after every 4 stitches of light green. So I'm just going to continue in that pattern as I make my treble crochets. So I'm going to yarn over twice, pull up a loop around the wire, treble crochet, then I'll treble crochet 1 more time using my dark green, and I'll change colors back to my light green. So I'm going to leave the stitch open on the hook and finish the stitch with a loop of the new color. And now I'm just going to continue with 4 treble crochets using the light green. And on the 4th stitch of my light green, I'm going to change colors back to my dark green. Then I'll make 2 trebles using my dark green. And I'm just going to repeat that pattern all the way up the leaf until I've made 26 trebles total. Alright, I've finished with 26 stitches of treble crochet, and my next stitch just happened to be after the 4th stitch of my lighter green, so I've changed colors to my darker green. Now I'm going to mirror what I did at the bottom of the leaf to taper the top of the leaf down. So I'm going to double crochet 2, half double crochet 2, and single crochet 2. Then I'm going to single crochet 2 into the wire loop at the end of the wire. So first I'm going to double crochet 2 using my dark green yarn, then I'll change colors back to my light green. And whenever I get too close to the end of the wire, I'm just going to shift my stitches down a bit to give myself a little bit of extra room. Now that I've done 2 double crochets, I'm going to do 2 half double crochets using the light green. And now I'm going to do 2 single crochets using the light green, and after the second single crochet, I'm going to change colors back to my dark green. Now I'm going to single crochet 2 times into the wire loop, and I'm going to make sure that I'm working my stitches over the yarn of the old color. And on that second single crochet, I'm going to change colors back to my light green. Now I'm going to create a picot using my light green yarn. To create a picot, I'm going to chain 3 and slip stitch into the 3rd chain from the hook. After I make my picot though, I'm going to change colors back to the dark green so that I can work the next stitches starting with my dark green on the other side of the leaf. In order to do that, I'm going to change colors when I do the slip stitch. So first I'm going to chain 3 using my light green yarn. Then I'm going to slip stitch into the 3rd chain from the hook, but I'm going to slip stitch using the dark green yarn. I'm just going to pull on the light green yarn tail a little bit to tighten that loop. Now using the dark green yarn, I'm going to single crochet 2 more times into the wire loop on the other side of the leaf. And on the second single crochet, I'm going to change colors back to my light green yarn. Now I'm going to mirror what I did on the other side of the leaf, working around the wire on the other side, and I'm going to work in between the stitches on the other side. So first I'm going to single crochet 2 times around the wire using my light green yarn. Then I'm going to half double crochet 2 times around the wire using my light green yarn, and then I'll change colors back to my dark green yarn. And I'm just basting my stitches in between each stitch on the other side of the leaf. Now I'm going to change colors to my dark green yarn. Now I'm going to double crochet 2 times in between the stitches on the other side of the row. And after the second double crochet, I'm once again going to change colors to my light green yarn. Next, I'm going to do my 26 treble crochets, changing colors every fourth stitch of my light green yarn, and changing colors every 2 stitches of my dark green yarn, working each stitch in between the stitches on the other side of the leaf. Okay, I've finished with my 26 treble crochets. Now I'm going to double crochet 2, half double crochet 2, and single crochet 2 in between all of these stitches, and then single crochet 2 into the wire loop at the bottom. I'm going to continue to change colors after every 4 stitches of my light green yarn, and after every 2 stitches of my dark green yarn, and I'm going to continue working each stitch in between the stitches on the other side of the row. So I'm going to double crochet 2, change colors to my dark green yarn, half double crochet 2, change colors to my light green yarn, single crochet 2, and then single crochet 2 into the wire loop at the bottom. After the second single crochet into the wire loop, I'm going to change colors to my yellow yarn. Now I'm going to turn the work, and I'm going to single crochet into the first stitch at the bottom of the other side of the leaf. Then I'm going to single crochet into each of the next 43 stitches until I get to the tip of the leaf. Alright, now I've done 44 stitches across this side of the leaf. Now I'm going to create a picot at the tip of the leaf. So I'm going to chain 3, and slip stitch into the third chain from the hook. Now I'm going to single crochet into the next 44 stitches along the other side of the leaf until I get to the bottom. Alright, I finished with 44 more stitches along the other side of the leaf. Now I'm just going to slip stitch into the first stitch to end the work. Then I'm going to cut off a long tail of my yarn, and I'm going to use that tail to sew the leaf down to the soil later. Next, I'm going to do the exact same thing to make another leaf that's slightly thinner. For this leaf, instead of creating any treble crochets, I'm just going to replace all the treble crochets with double crochets instead. Repeating the pattern of changing colors to dark green after every 4 stitches of light green, and changing colors back to light green after every 2 stitches of dark green. So I'm going to single crochet 2 into the loop, single crochet 2 around the wire, half double crochet 2 around the wire, then I'm going to double crochet 30 times around the wire, half double crochet 2, single crochet 2, and single crochet 2 more into the wire loop, then create a picot, then mirror the same thing on the other side. change colors to yellow yarn on the last stitch of the row, single crochet into the next 44 stitches using my yellow yarn, then create a picot, and then single crochet into the remaining 44 stitches. Slip stitch to the first stitch of the row and leave a long tail. Now I'm going to do the same thing again, except this time I'm going to make a shorter and thinner leaf. This time I wanted to make a 7-inch leaf, so I started with a shorter wire frame of 5 inches and only a 35-inch tail to cover up the wire. Then I'm going to single crochet 2 into the wire loop, single crochet 2 around the wire, half double crochet 2 around the wire, and then double crochet 24 around the wire. Half double crochet 2, single crochet 2, and single crochet 2 more into the wire loop, create a picot, and then mirror all the stitches on the other side. On the last stitch of the row, change colors to the yellow yarn, single crochet into the next 38 stitches, make a picot at the tip of the leaf, and then single crochet into the remaining 38 stitches. Slip stitch into the first stitch, and cut off a long tail of yarn. Now that I'm finished with my leaves, I'm going to put the plant into a pot. To do this, I'm going to use this crocheted planter pot and a little patch of crocheted soil. I showed you how to make these in my crocheted plant pot tutorial, which I will link in the description below. If you prefer, you could just make the little patch of soil and place the plant into the container of your choice. First, I'm going to sew the leaves down to the patch of soil. I'm going to take the first leaf, pinch the bottom together, and then push the bottom of the leaf into one of the holes in the soil patch. And I'm going to twist the leaves to make sure that they're facing in the direction that I want. Then fold it flat along the bottom of the soil patch. If you like, you could use some sewing pins to keep the bottom of the leaf in place. Then I'll bring the yellow yarn tail to the bottom of the patch and use it to sew the bottom of the leaf to the bottom of the soil patch. Then I'll repeat that process with the other 2 leaves. Sometimes it's a little tough to get the bottom of the leaf through the patch. To help with that, I'm going to use my crochet hook. Once again, I'm going to twist the leaf to make sure that they're all facing in the same direction. The biggest of the leaves was a lot harder to get into the soil patch than the others, but in the end I was able to get it through using my crochet hook. Once I finally got the biggest leaf in, I made sure to twist it around so that it was facing the same direction as the other 2 leaves. Next, I need to weigh down the bottom of the plant to keep it from falling out of the pot. In my planter pot tutorial, I used some large washers to do this. I don't currently have any more of those large washers on hand, so this time I'm going to use some fiberfill, this little shallow cup that I made, and some marbles. This cup is just a magic circle increased for 4 rows with 2 rows of single crochet. I'm going to add the marbles to the shallow cup, add fiberfill to keep them from shifting around. This fiberfill is just made of a bunch of the tails from when I was making this soil patch, and I just cut them all up to make a bit of fiberfill with them. Then I'm going to sew the whole thing to the bottom of the soil patch to add weight to the bottom. If you prefer though, you could just use the washers method that I used in my planter pot tutorial. Before I sew it together, I'm going to dry fit it into my pot to make sure that it fits well as a lid. Then I'm just going to adjust the placement of my pins to make sure that I get a good fit. Once it all fits into the pot well, I'm going to sew it all together. And that's it. Now I'll just drop this plant into the pot and we're done with the snake plant. Now let's try to style this on my shelf. I love how these plants turned out. I made another one with other shades of green, and they look so cute on my shelf. Are there any other plants that you think I should try to make? Let me know your suggestions in the comments. If you liked this video, be sure to push the like button or share it on social media. If you made this or any of my other projects, I'd love to see it. You can tag or DM me on Instagram at LizFairy to show me what you've been working on. And while you're there, give me a follow to see what I've been working on. If you appreciate the work I do on this channel and would like to thank me with a donation, you can do that in one of two ways. You can join my Patreon campaign at patreon.com/fairyrings, or you can leave a super thanks below the video right here on YouTube. I really love using crocheted plants to decorate my home and office. They really add a nice pop of color and just make me feel good seeing a little plant friend on the shelf, even if they're not a real plant. And it's such a bonus that you don't have to water them and they don't need any particular amount of sun. Let me know some of your favorite kinds of plants in the comments and I'll see if I can replicate some of them in crochet. I'm in a very planty mood because spring is almost here, and I have a few more plant-inspired tutorials coming your way, so make sure that you subscribe to the channel and click the bell to receive notifications every time I post a new video so that you don't miss the next one. That's all I have for you for now though, so I'll see you in the next one. Bye!